Yo, what's up, everybody? CrossFit, this is Matty Ice. We're here for 18.5. We got some tips from Richard Andrews. Richard, what do you think about this workout, yo?
Okay, 18.5 was just released. It is 11.6. 11.6 is thrusters and pull-ups on a 7-minute time cap on a ascending ladder, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, etc. until the time runs out. This is a burner. This is gonna hurt. Depends on how good you are at your pull-ups, really will dictate how far you make it through this workout. Everybody, the thruster is going to hurt them. If you're good at pull-ups, you can get really far in this workout. For a lot of us, the goal is going to be just getting some pull-ups, but if you're good at pull-ups, you can really make this hurt. Okay, so 18.5 only has 2 movements, thrusters and pull-ups. We'll talk about the thruster first. If you're like me, thrusters can get hard because of a poor front rack position. I think the better front racks will get these elbows out front, so when you squat, your chest stays nice and tall. If you're like me, getting the elbows out in front is very difficult. So the way that I do thrusters is I leave my thumb out and around the bar. All that allows me to do is just kind of put the bar further into my hand so I can really still press through the bar, but I can also kind of get the elbows a little bit further out in front. So I'll kind of show you here. Right, so most people grab the bar here, right? But you'll sometimes see people that have this big front rack position, so when they squat, they stay nice and upright. So I kind of open up my hand a little bit, let it sit back in my fingers, and now I can get my shoulders up, which is where the bar's supporting to begin with, right? So when you squat, you can stay really upright in that chest, but the bar is sitting on my shoulders, right? Which means it's not pushing into my throat and it's not resting on my body in a way that's gonna make it hard to breathe, right? Okay, the other thing with thrusters is that when you're moving really fast, it's really hard to take a breath. If you're getting into like the 6, 9 range, you kind of want to hold on to that bar just because you can get through those reps a little bit faster. If you put it down, that takes a long break. So maybe 6, 9, maybe we start breaking up to 12 and 15 range. But you want to take a breath. So on those thrusters, when you get to the top, that's when you take your breath. Don't take your breath here when it's sitting on your shoulders, right? The bar's pushing down on you. It's a little bit harder to breathe. Take the breath overhead. Right? If you want to move really fast with these thrusters, let the bar come down. If gravity's pulling that bar down, don't slow it down. As the bar comes down, if it's falling at 10 meters a second, make sure you end up squatting down at 10 meters a second. Don't fight the bar from going down. Now that will speed up your reps, when your heart rate's going to get higher, so you can breathe a little faster, so just be aware of that. The other movement is chest to bars. Now chest to bar, pull-ups are already hard enough as it is, right? We already had a workout where even the scaled version was having trouble getting pull-ups. Now we have chest to bar pull-ups. Those are very difficult. Especially if you're still working on getting your regular pull-up. The only difference between the angles or what you're pulling on a chest bar and a regular pull-up is the angle of your elbows, right? So on a regular pull-up, your elbows pull down so your chin can get over. On a chest bar, when you pull, you actually pull your elbows back. So not down, elbows back. So if you're working on getting chest to bars, maybe just making that small change will allow you to get you just a little bit further to get your chest to the bar. Okay, so tonight we're gonna have some commentary from my trusty sidekick, Matt. He hasn't been here the last couple weeks, but he is now. We're not doing the workout, so he's still gonna ask questions that maybe some people may have.
Hi, so Richard, 18.5 is also 11.6, or for other people it's 12.5. You and I have done this workout several times. I did this workout in 2012. I did not know how to do chest to bars. I did them very sloppily and very inefficiently. So for the people who don't know how to do chest to bars or how to do chest to bars more than one, what would you recommend them do? Are you going to say, okay, I want you to try and do more than one at a time so we can get through this because it's only 7 minutes? Or would you just say, all right, do one, shake it off, step back, turn around, jump up, do another one? Is that going to be the most efficient way to do that for an average Joe CrossFitter?
Yeah, so I think that singles is going to be probably the best way for most people still learning. If you have one chest to bar, don't try to do 2 chest to bars, because it's one of those movements where as soon as your pull gets lost, you can't come back from it. Get with your coach beforehand, and maybe you're really close to getting chest to bars. Have them teach you how to jump into that big arch and push away and kip to get your chest to the bar, and just do one at a time. Sometimes that's all it takes for somebody to get their first chest to bar pull.
You talked about your thumbs on the thrusters. Now on the chest to bars, I do have a question about that, just for the general public. So the new standard this year is you can't use tape and grips. You have to use one or the other. I see a lot of people doing what you and I would call a suicide grip, fingers around the bar but leaving that thumb behind, or some people doing regular grip with their whole hand around the bar. What would you recommend for an average Joe CrossFitter or somebody who's trying to get pretty decently far within that 7-minute AMRAP?
So you don't want your grip to fail at any point. So if you're somebody who's going to be able to put a lot of reps together, I think doing the full grip around the bar is the best option for that. I always use grips and use the full grip around the bar. I don't have the best grip strength, but I learned from a coach a long time ago, a couple years ago, that if you can get your entire hand over the bar and then get your thumb to come around in front, that will increase your grip strength tenfold. If you do the suicide grip, that's going to be the most comfortable, especially if you're doing one at a time or you're breaking up your pull-ups, because you don't have to worry about trying to get your grip. So even when I do this grip, my first maybe 1 or 2 pull-ups are done with suicide until I can get my hand in the proper position for me to grip around and hold on to my fingers. But if you're doing 1 or 2 reps at a time or short sets, suicide grip is going to be the best way to go. But just remember, it is called the suicide grip for a reason.
All right, next question. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, so on and so forth. Average Joe CrossFitter, elite CrossFitter, whatever, what would you do as far as a reps can go? Would you just go as far as you can to go unbroken? Would you do what you can until you kind of hit that pain cave? Sorry, that's a mosquito. Well, what would you do as far as the reps can go? What would you recommend?
So if you're a higher level, the 18-21 range is going to be where some of the higher people get. In order to get that far, you're going to have to be unbroken all the way through 15. You're going to have to do big sets or move really fast. I think 12-15 is going to be a great score for most people. You can still make it this far and not go unbroken. I think 3 and 6, most people will try to do those unbroken if you're capable, especially on pull-ups. And then 9, maybe you start breaking up the thrusters or the pull-ups, depending on which one you're weaker at. Break it in half. 5-4, same thing with the 12, maybe go 4-4-4. It depends on what you're weak at. If the pull-ups are something you struggle with, don't try to do bigger sets than what you're capable of. If the pull-ups are something you're good at, but the thrusters get you all jacked up, break the thrusters up, take a few breaths, pick the bar back up, and get going again.
Next question, gear. I'm going to try to wear as much gear as I can, but what should I not wear and what should I wear?
It's a good question. I would say, depending on what your squat's like, lifters are a good idea. Lifters just kind of give you a little bit better positioning to squat. Most people might say, but lifters are heavier for my chest to bars. If lifters are going to affect your chest to bars, you have more problems with chest to bars than you think. Right? Wear your lifters, it'll help you squat. If it helps you squat and you get to the thrusters faster, maybe in a better position, you can breathe a little better, that's going to help you out big time when it gets to the pull-up bar.
Wrist wraps.
Wrist wraps, depends on your wrists. If your wrists get in pain when they get into this flex position, then yes, wear wrist wraps, but I'd say no.
How about a belt? 100 pounds is heavier than we're used to. Normally we do 95.
This workout, because it's so short, almost immediately your heart rate's going to be skyrocketing, which means that you're going to be breathing harder. If I have something compressing my diaphragm, I'm not going to be able to breathe. So I would say forego the belt. Now, if you're somebody who is needing the belt for maybe an injury purposes or something like that, then absolutely wear the belt. Or if you're somebody who's not expecting to make it past the 12 or going to struggle to get to the 12 and you want to wear a belt, wear a belt. But if you think you're going to get to 15, 18, 21, you're probably not going to want to wear a belt because you're going to be breathing so hard.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Want to see a magic trick? I'm going to make this workout disappear. It's gone. Chalk or no chalk? That is the real question.